I think we're good.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna kind of do just a little quick recap. So frequency, so thought or emotion, conscious awareness is what creates our first frequency. Okay? Our frequencies, our thoughts, our emotions are measurable. They give off frequency. It's electromagnetic. Okay? Electromagnetic frequencies become light, and like science was saying, light holds all the information necessary for creation. Okay, next after that we have sound, we have sacred geometry, and then we have our base elements, and then we have us, which fills, 99.9999% space. Okay, so now that you understand just how malleable you really are, the next question that comes up is like, well, what does that have to do with spirituality? How does that fit? So science defines our experience through experimental repetition and perceived facts. I put in that word, it should have been in square quotation. No one's a grammar Nazi here but me. Perceived, okay, perceived. We are still only perceiving it with 5 senses, and they are all very much embedded in the physical world, okay? But still leaves the fundamental spiritual inquiries of who am I, where did I come from, and why am I here, poorly sated or satisfied, right? How many times, that's what people are looking for. They're looking for answers, like what's the point? Why are we here even? Okay, so this is going to be a very simplified, from my perspective, idea of what's the spiritual point of this. Okay, so next slide, I believe.
No. Okay.
Okay, now the very first thing that often gets confused is people start talking about higher self, their soul, their spirit, and everything. There's all these terms flying around, and often I think something gets lost in translation. Spirit and soul are 2 completely different things, yet they are one and the same. Going back to our inverted triangle there, we have conscious thought or creation, emotion, which is the very first frequency. Conscious spirit is aware of thought and reason. These are the 2 first things that must exist. First, spirit must be aware, so it must be capable of thought. Then it must be capable of reason, which is emotion related, okay? So they're kind of like cause and effect, right? Everybody knows that for every action there must be an equal and opposite reaction, okay? Cause and effect. These are by nature positive, so thought is positive, an active force, which means that it is that first frequency, okay? And negative, there must be something negative, something to be acted upon, okay? And thus it creates spin or movement. Again, we're back into movement. There has to be movement in all things for something to exist. So the very first thing about spirit is that it is aware of thought and reason, which also can be contributed to wisdom and love. Now this is where it starts to get into the enlightenment perspective of spirit. People are always like, spirit is all unconditional love, spirit is omnipotent, etc., etc., etc. And that is where wisdom and love, those are the 2 founding principles of spirit, is wisdom and love, which by nature are male and female respectively. This is where you get the polar opposites. Remember, in plasma we have positive and negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Same thing. Spirit is positive and negative. Spirit is by nature both male and female. And this, once spirit has become aware, so capable of thought and reason, it is now capable of knowing and reacting emotionally, which is love, which by nature creates the polar opposites of male and female. When spirit breaks into male and female, you have what is called the twin souls. So everybody let me not generalize. Has everybody heard the expression that you have both male and female in you? Yes, you have both. You have both elements of that being in you. That is exactly true. This is how it happens. Okay? Now the difference is that by the laws of nature, okay, the law of attraction, like attracts like, whatever your soul is most attracted to determines what sex you are attracted to being. Okay? So, following these fundamental principles that nature says there must always be male and female, and to achieve balance, it's a union of the two. According to this thought, it is absolutely impossible for a female spirit to be born in a male body and vice versa, because it is like attracts like. That is the fundamental law of the universe. That is the law of attraction. Okay? So I know that gets into kind of touchy areas where it comes to dealing with homosexuality and stuff like that, but I think that's just imbalance. I don't think that a female spirit is actually born in a male body, but I do believe it can influence it if it is out of balance. Okay? Yes. Okay, now this is the part that we're going to spend most of our time talking about. Your soul, as it evolves, okay, your soul is evolving. So as your soul has become attracted to an experience, okay, so your soul is attracted to this physical experience. This served you somehow. You chose this, okay? Yeah, everybody's like, nonsense. I can't hear. Okay? No, you chose this. And your physical body is a physical representation of when your soul basically crystallized in light. Okay? So basically your physical body is almost like an echo of your soul or astral body. Okay? So that's going to be important when it comes to talking about light again. Now, when we talk about the five senses, we're all familiar with touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. Now, the whole point of physicality, okay, this is again my perception, just take what you want from it. The whole point of being physical is to evolve into something greater, okay? That is how evolution works. Evolution is always moving. It is always spiraling forward, okay? Just to give you an example, everybody thinks that we orbit the sun. Anybody want to disagree? Just for fun? No? Okay.
How do you know?
Yes. Okay. That's a good question too. That's definitely. But
that's me disagreeing with you.
Science, when they actually look at our solar system, everybody thinks that here's the sun, here's us, and maybe we're moving on our arm of the Milky Way. Okay? No, actually the sun is here, we're here, and we are spiraling forward, and the Milky Way is also moving. It is not stationary. We're not staying in one spot. We're constantly moving. So everybody says that when there's movement, we have gravity, right? And everybody thinks that gravity is the force that pulls us down to Earth, right? That's what we're all taught, right? The Earth spins, the momentum of the spin pulls us down to Earth. Wrong. The spin or momentum of gravity pushes you down to Earth. Just think about that. You are pushed here by gravity. Gravity is not just some miscellaneous force just acting on us willy-nilly. Gravity is fundamental in creation. Just like frequency became light, became sound, becomes geometry, becomes atoms, molecules, you name it. Gravity pulls things into existence. Hence, black holes. Okay? So this is where black holes kind of come in. Everything gets sucked into a black hole and it crushes matter. Now what they don't tell you is that on the other side of the black hole, matter comes back out. Okay? They don't tell you that. It's a torus. Nothing in existence can be created or destroyed. It can only change form. So black hole is basically breaking stuff down and spitting it out the other side. The process of creation is continuing, even on the other side of a black hole. Okay. Now, how does that, really affect humans? Well, we think that we're locked into all this physical expression. That's it. Touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing. That's our physical world. That's us. Well, if that was truly it, what would be the point? If all you are is a physical experience, what's the point? And everything that I have read, studied, meditated on, and asked questions about says that that's not it. There are other senses attached to each one of these senses that we are here to evolve. And as we evolve, we start to go back up the triangle. Okay? So, touch. Normal touch we think of is physical interpretation of what's a solid, what's a liquid, what's a gas. They say touch is the ability to psychometrize or telekinesis, which means to manipulate matter with thought, energy. Okay? Taste, we think it's to, chocolate cake. No, they're saying that it's the ability to absorb and enjoy the essence of the life wave. If everything is energy, and we are energy, do we really need to eat? Just saying. Has anybody heard of the breatharians? They are a group of people who have developed this ability. They do not eat. They meditate and consume life energy from nature, from around them, from everything around them. So they're pretty cool if you want to check them out. Next one, smell. We think that it's perfume, flowers, things like that, which are all things to be, grateful for. They influence our emotions and stuff like this. But they're also saying the ability to distinguish the spiritual aromas of nature. Has anybody ever been in a forest and you took a breath in and you felt immediately re-energized? Mm-hmm. Guess what you just did? Okay? We have little glimpses of these other abilities that are naturally bestowed on us by our divine nature. Okay? Sight, the lucid state of called clairvoyance. So the ability to see pictures, not necessarily using your human eyes. It's becoming more and more and more and more common. How much can you actually see? How much of the spectrum can you actually see? Do you remember? It's like 0.1%.
Fraction.
1% is what your physical eyes are actually capable of seeing. I can't remember the exact math, but it's something like we're only interpreting less than 1/400th of what our eyes, what electrical impulses are actually going in. So our brain is not even interpreting into something that we can perceive all the information that we're actually absorbing. There is more than meets the eye, right? All right, hearing, the ability to perceive vibrations, terms, clear audience. And again, we have all heard of people who have these abilities, little kids who hear voices, they talk to grandma, stuff like that. These abilities are in you. These are your divine nature. This is the spiritual side of you. Intuition, the capacity to receive true inspirations. And like Lorraine was saying, women's intuition, my spidey senses are tingling. Whatever you want to call it. Right? We all have that ability to go, is that true? Guess what? I don't really feel right about that. Or, is this true? Wow, I'm having tons of friction up here about that. Maybe it's something I need to address. Maybe it's something I need to look into because it's challenging a belief system. Okay? So there's lots of ways to develop intuition, but the number one way is to start being quiet. Start unplugging. We are so purposely kept busy, because they wouldn't want you at all to function on these senses, because you would be responsible, you would not be dependent. You would be somebody who acted, not reacted. There are so many reasons, like the powers that be, they're not dumb. They know all this stuff. They just are using it for power and control rather than what the potential of each person on this planet could be. And then thought transference, the ability to converse with spiritual intelligence at will, or even just telepathy with other individuals. And I know that all of us, as we become more spiritually aware of ourselves, are starting to experience these things. Okay, like almost daily. This is the point of being physical. Your whole purpose of being here is to evolve. Coming down into 3D is as low as you can get on the frequency scale. Okay, this is as low as you can go. Okay, we're at rock bottom. The only place to go is up. And the only way to go up is to develop the spiritual aspect of your nature. Okay? You are experiencing this physical, I guess, whatever. Sounds dumb to say experience again, but whatever. You are here because it is helping you develop these. You have the opportunity to develop these traits in spades right now. If you want to get biblical, let's go into the Bible. The whole phrase is overcome the natural man. When you know and understand these things, greater miracles than I will you perform. Okay? There is a power that comes from knowing your spiritual self. And this is where I would show you, don't worry about that. This is where I would show you a clip of the Green Lantern. Everybody seen the movie The Green Lantern? No? Oh, dang, okay. What's the power that they use? Anybody remember? What's the power that they use? What is the power of the universe that they use to... Will. Okay? Good job. Good job. So,
Funny point.
oops. I just want to make sure I'm not jumping ahead of myself here. Okay. So they use will. And when we think of will, we're always tied into the physical. You know, the determination to overcome the obstacles, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But will is the mild expressions of a firm but gentle soul in the process of evolving forms in the spiritual imagery of thought. Now, what is the most powerful thing in the universe? What starts creation? Thought. Thought starts creation. What are you all capable of doing? Thinking. Okay? Thought starts creation. When you are in touch with the spiritual side of you, so when we start to interpret those senses the way our spiritual or divine self would experiencing them, we start to increase in will. When you increase in will, you are able to control the elements and the ability to produce physical phenomena at will. Which means that the more you understand who and what you are, literally, you become the master creator. You are a god in embryo. You are here to learn the spiritual, and you are here to express that. This physical condition is often referred to as a prison. Okay? Now, this is where I want you to understand that you're responsible. Okay? The whole point of being physical is to evolve that soul. That soul, when it evolves, becomes a whole. The soul balances the male and female. I'm not going to talk about that yet. Balances the male and female that is in you. When there is the equilibrium of your soul, you are now channeling your spirit. Okay? Spirit is the higher self. Spirit comes down through soul, which is connected to the heart, which then we interpret however we choose to interpret. Now, the whole goal of physicality is to get the body and the soul realigned with spirit so that you now have access to everything. You have access to all information. You have access to all understanding of what things are, how things work, how to affect them. You will be performing what they say our miracles. You will be doing the instantaneous healing. You will be the one that just knows stuff because you asked. Okay? It's not about education. And I'm not trying to diss it because unfortunately this is the direction that our world has taken. But you cannot let your education interfere with your ability to create. It doesn't work. They're following completely opposite principles, and we have been blessed throughout time to have people, usually men, that you hear about because they don't write about the women, who have shown us how it can be. And everybody automatically says that they are deities, that they are gods, and they keep saying, no, I am no greater than you. You know, you and I are the same. They're trying to show us the way. There has always, 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 in every generation of existence, been somebody to show the way. And that is because that is what we are capable of. And the whole saying that, you know, you're not a spirit having a human, not a human having a spiritual experience, you're a spirit having a human experience. Yeah. Okay? That's what it's about. Now, when they talk about the Trinity, before it got screwed up by religion, okay, this is what it actually meant. Okay? The will, the mind, and the emotions. This is the motor. This is the first wave. This is what gets creation going. Your body and your spirit, when all together, that's the goal. That's the Trinity. The Trinity is to bring body, soul, and spirit together. And your soul has all of these capabilities. But right now, we're stuck in here and here and reacting with these, not using them. Very reactive. And we're interpreting will wrong. We're interpreting will very wrong. The Bible says, you know, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Will is not something powerful and overbearing. Will is an understanding. Will is an interpretation of love. Will is an expression of unconditional love through your thoughts and your emotions to affect change. Okay. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else there. Okay. Okay, so evolution is always happening. Everything's in a constant state of motion. So the goal of physical experience is for man to realign the body and the soul with spirit. And this only happens through the developmental evolution of those senses. We weren't given those senses to be limited by them. We were given those senses to experience and excel above them. And I know that everybody's had some sort of experience at one point or another that led them to believe that there was something far more than just this. Something far, far greater and beyond them than just a physical experience. Otherwise, what the hell would be the point? You exist just to continue the existence of a species? That's it? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have any answers. And yet when people start to go inside to find the answers rather than outside, miracles start to happen. And that is, well, the divine laws of nature. So, as you develop your senses, and that is a job that you have to do inside. It doesn't come external, it comes internal. That's your responsibility. Only you can do it. You have to follow the path that will be right for you. But as you develop those senses, you start to merge those parts of your fractured soul. You start to merge the opposites, the male and the female. You start to become one, that wholeness. And then, when you are one and your soul is aligned, then you are in line with spirit. And then the possibilities are absolutely endless. Anything is possible. There's no such thing as a limit. You guys can break every single boundary, every single scientific fact that they say there is absolute moot. And that was from your presentation last year.
Oh.
But my point is that our journey here is to become something more. And when you strip away money, when you strip away the accepted norm, the conformities, when you strip away 9 to 5 what does your heart tell you? You know, where do you find your peace? It ain't in a paycheck. You know, it's not in a new car. Your peace doesn't come from there.
And we weren't made to be automatons.
No.
We were
You
never
were-
meant to be automatons.
You were meant to be a creator. You are creating this reality. So basically, if you don't like your life, change it. And the only way you're going to change it is by going inside. You're going to have to find the answers inside. You're going to have to do some soul searching. And the awesome thing is that the same principle applies to you as applies to the universe. The whole saying, as above, so below, the rules are the same. So, if massive creation can happen in our universe, you know, if we can manifest in 3D, you can do the same. I know that's really hard to wrap your heads around sometimes, but I've experienced moments where I have been the creator. I have physically changed something. I know it's possible. I know it's possible. And the only way to get in touch with this is to go inside yourself and to unlearn what you have been taught. Because it's steering you in the wrong direction. So, any questions, or was that like clear as mud? No? Okay. All right. Yeah.
You're done?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, I like
There,
this
oh, there,
one.
there. That's the as above, so below concept.
Okay, we'll just look at the pretty pictures.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Oops.
Christina,
Yes.
how do you spell Breatharians?
Breatharians?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Guess. Breathe and then Aryans.
Okay, so I was.
Breathe.
Should I omit the A?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just punch it in and see what comes out.
It should come up.
I got
Yeah.
See when the fruit goes.
Yeah.
Mwahahaha.
It's not me.
It's outside. Ooh.
Maybe somebody's creating.
Wrong frequency.
You never know.
Yeah.
I just stuck this in because it's a different viewpoint. You're an expression of the infinite consciousness of the universe, manifest in a third-dimensional vibration. Nothing can influence you unless you agree to it. When you realize that this is just a game, a drama to be played out, knowing who and what you are is your greatest power. No external fight is necessary. Only an internal revolution can set you free. Standing your own sovereignty. So how many of us at Mittens time have at one time or another in your life felt like a victim
Absolutely.
and felt helpless and felt
It's
like
not fair.
it's not fair. And the world is almost set up that way in the right, but this is all the physical world. So I spent my whole life feeling like I was a victim to the physical world. I was born poisoned. I grew up up north. I was born poisoned, mercury poison and arsenic poison. My mom was sick when I was first born. I had huge problems with my arms coming out of joint, like tons of physical problems. And as I got older, I had massive physical problems. I had learning problems. And they sent me here and they sent me there and they sent me everywhere. And you go to doctors and you go to the school, and it was a fight to do the best that we could within those systems. And then there comes a time where, pretty quickly usually, when you go to all those systems and to that knowledge for help, and not only can they not help you, but they tell you you're crazy. Because that's what they do when they can't figure it out.
It's in your
Right?
head.
So those were my lessons, that was my learning, and it was an amazing and integral part of why I am the way I am now. And it started with figuring out, click it, I don't even know what's next. You're a spiritual, energetic being having a human experience. You create your consciousness. You create. And you're a soul. You don't have a soul. We've been taught everything backwards. And I found that a lot through the physical healing and a lot through the looking for the spiritual. I'm looking for the spiritual, I'm looking for this, and I'm looking for healing. And it didn't matter what I seemed to take or what I learned or where I went. If it was outside of me, it did not answer the question. Has anybody ever found that?
Yep.
That you're out searching everywhere and you can't find it. That whatever it is, you don't even know what it is, but you know that you're searching for something. And even that is part of that energy emotion. Are we physical? This is funny. We have all these systems, massive systems. And I just threw these up to, right, how many times we looked at all these charts and all the intricacies? They still don't understand. You go to, especially the medical system or anyone, and there's all these intricacies and all this math and everything that they go through. They still know nothing. Can they explain to you how a baby is formed? This is what it does. They show how the cells divide, right? And how it, whatever. Can they explain?
How does it know?
How does it know?
That's right.
How does that one little egg go to one cell, to then more cells, to create perfect geometric shapes, and then grow more to form, and this is one, right? One single cell. And to know enough for one to go, for this many to go and start a liver, and this to do your breathing, and this to start all these systems. Your brain, your central nervous system, your peripheral system, your cardiovascular, all of these systems. They started at one cell. Well, we all know they start with sex. But the miracle part of it, it started with one cell, and you know what? Science will never be able to name that or box that or measure it. There is no way to measure miracles. And that's where science is so limited. Other than we're getting, into the quantum physics gets a little bit more. But it's not measurable. And nothing that's really real is. How can you measure anything that's infinite?
They still can't even replicate synovial fluid. They
can't
do
replicate
that. They
life.
tried. They can't.
Yeah.
Still, they're trying, but they can't do it.
Yeah. See, we create on the physical level. How many people plant a garden? You have a seed, and you know you need sun, and you need soil, and you need water, and we can manipulate all that in the physical, right? But where's the miracle that makes that seed sprout? Where does that come from? I dare any of you to come up with that one. What about that? But what if you'd controlled that as well? What if you could harness that? See, we have, right, all the systems that the doctors talk about. And I mean, any time that something happens in your body, and I'm going to shift a lot to physical, because a lot of people think about that. Any time anything happens in the body, it's basically something wrong with energy flow. It's a communication problem between your programming and what you have going on. So you've got, all your systems. Just check out, because that's a medical chart. And then check out the fluffy chakra chart. When I first started hearing about chakras and stuff, I'm like, okay, everything that I know to be true now, I called someone a Fruit Loop along the way. Like Fruit Loop. But when you can explain it to me scientifically, and when I can feel it and experience, isn't that what we want? Like, you just want to feel it, you want to experience it. So, but when you go with the doctors, they fix you like inside, or when you're working on there's something wrong in your body. See, this is actually more accurate, because your chakra system takes energy in from outside your body too, right? You relate to other people with it. So isn't that more accurate than you're this little self-contained little biocomputer? And this is, so you look back to the charts that basically doctors have written, it's all science and stuff. And I don't even know where, I just put this picture in. Because this could have been someone high on ayahuasca that just painted what they see people to look like. Now, the average person, if you've seen that picture, what would you think? But it's weird. It seems weird. It seems foreign. It seems, right? Maybe a little Fruit Loopy. Yeah.
Okay, well, it doesn't to me.
Does it to you?
No, at all.
Yeah. And isn't it more accurate? And there's the chakra system and all the different zillions and the
All the
meridians and the cardiovascular and the everything matching together. But look at the energy doesn't stop there. Right? I mean, you're in relationship with everything around you.
Notice how he glows a lot like light.
That's what he
Yes.
That's why he wears his heart.
It's underneath his ribs and stuff. But the chakras are the are the main things. When you start to understand energy, and especially when you start to play with it, you actually see things differently. Start picking up a leaf or something and seeing the patterns. Pick up anything. When you're going down the stairs, look at the pictures that are there, because they were done by a guy that was high in ayahuasca.
Mm-hmm.
And we had just come out of a bunch of energy classes, and we were walking around, we were thinking, you know, all this stuff, and we all just like, zoom! And we looked at, because when you are in a very high vibrational mode and you're seeing, and you've been manipulating with energy, that's, you see things differently. You don't see things physically. Like when I'm working in energy, I can tell the wall's not solid. Like you can see things inside of people. It's very cool. You just have to take my word for it unless you want to. So the body's communication systems, since, I mean, that's the easiest and fastest thing to work on, or that's what we most relate to. There's 3 communication systems within your body, right? And what is it when you have a dis-ease in your body, a pain or anything? It's just a symptom. It's a trigger that you better notice something, there's something going on. That's all it is, right? And it's almost, well, as much as I can think, it's always a breakdown of communication within your cells, a breakdown of energy. That can happen in multiple ways. So the 3 communication systems are chemical, hormonal, and electrical. So chemical is like the things that you eat, your environment, your responses to things. It also affects your emotions. Like people have chemical depression, they have chemical this, you have a headache, you take, right? What you eat, all of that is chemical. Hormonal, and that's about balance. That's about the little silent stuff behind this. Everything running in balance. Your metabolism, reproduction, growth. It regulates and aids all of your organs. Everything in your body. And then electrical. Messages all system, programs all systems, programs your reactions. That's where you get your autonomic responses. And it's codependent on everything. It works with everything. So, out of all of these, which one's really in charge?
Electrical.
The electrical. Which one would typically be the fastest?
The electrical.
Yeah, quick. So then you have the 3 parts of who you are. You have your physical, your emotional or mental, and your spiritual or energy. And that's like your higher self, okay? So your physical body is reactive, right? You're burnt, you get a blister. You know, you eat something, you get sick, or you don't. Like, it's very reactive. Very slow to change. Degenerative, highly influenced. What's your body influenced by?
Everything.
Everything. Air, sound. And symptomatic. See, everything that happens in your body is a symptom of what's going on at a higher level. Can you guys kind of see that from what Christina talked about? There's something way bigger going on. And this physical self is just to kind of shows us, it's a very good tool to show us when something's going on that we need to learn. Your emotional, mental, also reactive, also very programmable. And we do a lot of training about that in the retreats, level 1 and 2. It's habitual. It's highly influenced by everything around. It's symptomatic. And it can be intuitive. But your spiritual energy self is creative. It does the programming. It's timeless. It's regenerative, and it's infinite. So just ask yourself, where are you living? Where were you taught to live? Which one of those 3 columns? Wow. Now how easily are you controlled when you're in that column? Massive.
Just one comment. Your emotions are the go-between between your spiritual self and your physical self. So
Yeah.
just keep you right at.
I didn't even look at my notes. Whatever. And the 3 different levels of medicine. And I just use this because it's a way of, we could go off into 1,000 different areas, like everything, right? But this is one that I think you guys might be able to understand now. 3 models of medicine, 3 different focuses, 3 different levels. Allopathic. That's when you go to your doctor, right? They're dealing simply with the physical. They're seeing the disease as an entity. So from what, is the disease an entity? Do you have some evil entity in you making you sick? You have a miscommunication problem. Somebody's saying, you know what, there's something that you need to pay attention to. And the longer you don't pay attention to it, the more painful it gets, typically, right? It's about pain avoidance. Very classified diagnosis. This is your diagnosis. What does it even mean? Like, they can't tell the miracle of the birth. What does it mean? What is chronic, any of it? What's irritable bowel syndrome? It means you get the shits. Is there an irritable bowel germ? Is there an irritable bowel growth? Is there a... It's a label.
Now they can put you on a shelf and get on to the next page.
But yes, it's just a label. Chronic fatigue, right? All this, you get tired. Well, we will make sure that it costs, Medicare, like quite a few thousands of dollars, and we'll figure everything out. And if we can't, we'll just call it chronic fatigue.
And take
You're
care of
tired.
it for big pharma.
Yes,
Yes.
you're tired. Pharmaceutical. Okay, this is the big thing. In any area of your life, follow the money.
Mhm.
Follow the money if you're not getting answers. It's reactive, uncombative, and remedial. How many people have heard fight cancer? How many people have you gone on a fight cancer walk or like raw hot and give them money and stuff? Well, I used to do it until I realized energetically what it was.
Mhm.
How can you fight something within yourself that's trying to teach you something? And it's no different with people, right? If somebody calls you on your shit, or, like you have a child who's being a brat, and the mother is like, blah, 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 and the kid's like, hey, Joe, blah, blah. You don't kill your child, usually. But we're like the children. And those things are symptoms. They're things to be brought into awareness for us to look at. And as you learn and you realize, and you can create something different. And don't let anybody tell you can't. How many things are out there that they say are not curable?
They're lying.
They're lying. Degenerative disc disorder, it's curable. Arthritis, curable. Diabetes, curable. Cancer,
cured.
totally curable. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, curable. And chronic fatigue, right? Liver failure, all of it. And I can tell you all that they're curable because I've cured them all. And I don't give a shit what any doctor tells me. They never done me anything other than covering up the symptoms and creating more problems.
And label it.
And label it.
Coming from the medical community, I can tell you that in spades. They will label it and keep you enslaved.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's all about keeping you enslaved.
Yep, and it will hurt you. It will hurt you on all planes. It will hurt you financially, emotionally, spiritually. It will keep you right where they want you.
Yeah. And we've all probably had something that you can relate to that.
Mhm.
But then be able to put this to the other side parts of your life and have them go across. It's crisis oriented. It addresses specifics, defensive radicals, counteragents, you're at high risk for side effects. It's very invasive. Emphasis on the cure.
Not.
What has the emphasis ever been on? Really, it's on treating the symptoms.
Right on the medical, I'm trying to think which association it comes from. But anyhow, right in their little write-up about their professions, it says that it is far more beneficial to treat a disease than to cure it.
Fabulous.
So why would we do that?
Yeah.
And beneficial to who?
Exactly.
There's the question that asks.
Yeah. Speed and convenience, there's the thing.
Everybody wants to blame somebody else for their problems.
Anyone, as long as you look outside yourself or you don't take responsibility for your own health all the way around, you're going to get screwed over. Now, is it easier?
Yeah.
Lots of times, yeah, to hand it over to someone else and you have someone else to blame.
And then you're a victim of your circumstance.
Yeah. Now, as you watch scientifically how everything comes from thought, though, and everything that happens in your body or in your surroundings is just something to come up to help you take notice, to learn, those are gifts. So what do you do with gifts? You kill them, you smash them, you treat them, you cut them out.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy is that? If that's what we're here to do is learn, and there's something bigger. Practitioner authority. How many people have felt that one?
Mm-hmm.
Pacifying. Awesome. Medical analyst. Best for acute condition structural damage. Cost prohibitive, extremely high. Now, you know what? If you break your leg, go to the hospital. I mean, we need doctors, we need nurses, we need, right? Great, because the physical is very slow, remember? And very reactive. So if you break something, you have something, absolutely go to the doctor. I'm not saying not to.
But also keep in mind that when you truly understand who and what you are, you won't need to go to the doctor. I'm sorry, I got to keep the bigger possibility in Paige because that's the goal.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying, like I said, it's not don't go to the doctor. It's just that as you evolve, you won't need that.
I haven't been to the doctor. I don't know. The last time I went to a doctor was something really major that came up. And they went into the hospital and they're like, and who's your family doctor? I'm like, I don't like any of you, and I call you family. So for quick fixes, I go to the doctor, and I respect them. But that whole industry is run by the pharmaceutical industry. You're not in control, and I don't want someone else to take responsibility for my healing. Everything that I've had physically go wrong in my body has taught me great, enormous lessons and helped me to be who I am now. So then you go into holistic, which is about causes and patterns. And that's where I started to go. When I was 18 years old and dying, and all the doctors could do was basically tell me that I should have antidepressants and pain medication and that, da-da-da-da. And I was dying. There was no other word for it. I was terrified. So I started looking in holistic, the causes and patterns. Disease is a process. Pain reading and addressing individual needs, nature and nutrition. See, this is being responsible and learning. And it's a much better way. So I went through all of this. Addressing the systems, eco-natural, being the co-agent, low risk of side effects, organic. The emphasis is on healing, not cutting out or treating or anything like that. It's restorative, regenerative, practitioner, educator, activating. Patient participant. You are a part in your own healing. Systematic. They look at the mind, body, spirit. So I found a ton of relief there. A ton of relief there. I had to do a whole crop load of research, and it cost me many, many, many monies. But that's where I found all my answers. I didn't find any in the first one. Best for immunity, da-da-da. Cost is fairly small to moderate, depending. Me, it costs thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of study, is mostly what I've done. And there's a lot of intricacies there. But then what I realized as well, that even within the holistic, that a lot of the things that I was going and doing was coming from my intuition. Many people have noticed synchronicity. You'll buy something, you don't know why. You pick up a book, you don't know why. You'll meet somebody, and all of a sudden they have the perfect answer for you. Funny how that works, eh, Denise?
It is.
Ah.
It is.
So I realized there was a lot of that going on then as well. Somehow, as I started to learn and grow myself, my, higher self, started to take over and do the little magic. Although I didn't believe or understand it yet. And then we go into the quantum field. Light and information that make up cause, patterns, and symptoms. What did we learn we are? Disease.
So yeah, the communication problem is probably between spirit and self.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Disease is misaligned ease, pain elimination, energy blockage, 0 point energy, proactive, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, it's cooperative, it's supernatural. You're getting into energy alignment, there's no risk. I can work on anybody's energy right here. It's not like I'm stabbing you, right? The emphasis is on transformation. And why are we here?
To evolve.
Yeah. Practitioner, it's education facilitating. The patient is a relaxed, it's intuitive. And it's best for anything that is made of energy. What is made of energy?
Everything.
Wow. And I mean, you know what? It doesn't really have to cost anything. It might cost you to learn. But your thoughts, we've heard that, positive thinking and what it does. We get that a little bit misunderstood. But in reality, it's true. As you think, so you are. Right?
Mm-hmm.
As you think, so shall you be. Everything you think about, you bring about. All of those things are true. You just have to be able to understand them before they're not going off into total chaos.
And creating
Energy is literal. Frequencies are literal. Attraction is literal, like tuning forks. Right? Everybody know how tuning forks work? You ring one tuning fork and it'll answer, and the other ones will call out. Like, isn't that magic? I mean, we'll say we know how that works. We're like, okay, we understand how tuning forks work. Why would we work any differently? Right? Why would we work any differently? But then sometimes we get the energy frequencies wrong because we're in our head or what we've thought of. Oh. But we're doing a seminar on that in October. Here, click the next page. I put this in, Christina came in this morning, I was showing her my presentation, and like, I have no idea why I put this picture in my presentation. I have no idea what I'm going to say about it, but I labeled it evolution. She's like, I know why you put that in your presentation. Like, because apparently she was being too scientific to find the pretty picture that went along with her story. So I did it. We are changing. Things are speeding up. Does everyone feel that? You can feel things changing. You can feel things speeding up. Synchronicity is starting to be more. Our intuition is starting to get...
And your DNA is changing.
Yeah, everything's changing on an energetic level. And every time we get sun flares and the moons and the, all the stuff coming up with 2012, it's about the energy vibrations lifting. And that's where we're feeling all those changes. So if you're stuck in the physical world trying to fix all of those feelings that you have, how awful do you feel right now? See, that's those massive people that are committing suicide, because it literally, if your physical existence is all there is no reason. But if you can feel, like, if you understand what's going on, you can feel those raises in vibration, get a little excited, and tap into it, and get excited about seeing new things and learning about them, your whole world can change, and you start vibrating at a higher level, and you start changing in every way. Your energy changes, your thought patterns change, physically you change. And that's what evolution is. I mean, Darwin's like, whew, yeah. They really, really took a stretch, even scientifically. I mean, the stuff that we learn in school, it is redonkulous. It is redonkulous. Okay, now I'm on a tangent. I'm sorry. Speaking of evolution, you know, and I mean, I learned the Bible and learned, you know, history in school. How old is civilized man supposed to be?
2,500 years.
Yeah, got 1,000 years.
2,500 years.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then explain to me. Okay, but that's the stuff that's backed up. If it's backed up by the government, the church, the schools, right? The church is a big one. Because they made up their minds, this is the way it is. And then as facts come in, they didn't want them to get in their way. So they just ignore them. So the information that we get is the stuff that somebody has a monetary gain to give to you. So there's a few places in the world. It is in, well, Peru, all over in South America. It's amazing, like all the old Incan stuff is just cool. And they can carve a big date back, just massive. But it was Bolivia? They're uncovering, there was a whole city structure that was totally covered up by sand. They've carbon dated that, and it was technologically higher, they feel, than what we have here. Like they were thinking they were using shapes to make sound and to move things, and the carbon dating was 16,500 years. And some of the tribes, there's a specific tribe in Australia that lives right below a mountain, amazing, and everything's done with natural healing and sound, and of course they were really amazing before the white people come. But they've carbon dated their skulls and everything 40,000 years.
And the cuneiform texts that they found over in the Middle East and stuff are dating some of the civilizations back 50,000 plus.
There's so much out there that you have to go search for, but it's documented, it's proven, and there's scientists working on it. There's just no money to back them up to get the information out. There's no big money person that's going, oh, that's pretty truthful and empowering. I'm not putting my money behind that. So there's a lot of passionate people around the world that are studying and learning these things, but of course we're not getting it en masse. The only things that we get en masse are things that can be commercialized for us.
Or keep you scared.
Or keep you scared. And it's the same, you know, if you go back to, I was using health. There are cures for everything in the world. Not just if you know somebody who does energetics, not just if you're a guru and study all this stuff and sit on a mountain and sing kumbaya. Medical science has the cures for everything. But they're not marketable. The U of A in Edmonton has the cure for cancer. But nobody will pick up the ball because it costs so many millions of dollars to get it to market, and there's not enough profit in it. So those are the systems that we're playing into. How many people trust their lives to those systems now? Yeah.
If that was ever brought out, Big Pharma would squash it so fast.
They do.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
actually in the newspapers, in the
Yeah.
Internet Journal and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And
Their
I've
big
watched
thing is
the news.
debunking.
Yeah.
that was it.
But
They will call it
they even
debunking.
said it's because the FDA said they cannot make money off it. They flat out said
They
it, and
flat out
everybody
said
just
that
kinda
it
went,
wasn't
"Oh,
profitable."
Okay,
Yeah,
we're so
they-
conditioned to go, oh,
I guess death is
let me go walk for my
Well, it is.
my anti-cancer walk though, you know.
Well, the
Meanwhile-
FDA already ordered Google to stop running some ads by a lot
Natural
of
health.
natural health.
Yep, they've
Yeah.
been ordered to stop.
Yeah, they were ordered, and so they did.
So the reason the people with all the answers aren't out there is because they're being squashed and slammed and arrested. They're hiding, a lot of them. There's everything's out there. There's free energy. There's been free energy this whole century and the last century. There's been free energy. We don't need oil and gas, and right? We don't need any of those things. And you know what? There's proof on all of it if you research enough.
Just go to the patent office,
Go to the patent office.
right online. You can see a bunch of patents for them.
And I always have to put Einstein up because we think of him, right, as the father of science. Now, if you actually read up about Einstein and you listen to his quotes, the things that he says very little about science. Very little. He's just like, I'm just curious. You know? The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And he also believed that most of his information didn't come from him.
Yeah, he says I try not to let my education interfere with my intelligence. Yeah, so he was very grateful that he never made it far through school.
Because they're totally different, and people today commonly mistake the two.
Yes. that if you're educated, you're
Then you're
intelligent.
intelligent.
So what was Einstein famous for?
E equals MC squared.
E equals mc squared. And isn't it, I mean, worldwide, that's accepted. What does it mean?
What is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you know what it means? I gotta go. Do you know what it means?
That's something to do
Oh,
with
energy equals mass.
Let's say times acceleration squared.
Yeah, it's basically energy equals matter.
Yes.
You're correct.
Energy, it goes something, energy, motion, matter.
Yeah.
He basically said, right? But they didn't tell all of us that. Nobody explained that to us.
Complicated.
They had to complicate it. And you know what? Anything that's really complicated probably isn't true.
Also, Einstein was in the process of changing his equation before he died to expand on it. Yeah, to expand on it because he said it was incomplete. And he was also the one that said that gravity is the force that pushes existence down, does not pull you down.
So I've been watching, I watched
So
a
he
lot
was
of
trying to
programs you
change it
picked
to
up.
compensate for that.
Pretty much almost everything that you pick up from the general population is going to be bullshit. You can find out the truth. The best way to find out the truth is to know who you are and to get into that place where you're aware energetically of how you react to things, where you're responsible for yourself. I am made of energy. I will always exist. Whatever happens in this life is a vehicle to move me along, not a beginning or an end. No matter what the ego tells me, no matter what the body feels, those are merely experiences that I need to feel to achieve what I came here to do, be an experience. On some level, I already know everything that needs to be known. I don't remember it all right now because it would prevent me from the experience of the here and now. When I seek my truth, it will come back to me. There is nothing to fear. There is infinite love here. All that is flows divinely from within me. What if all there was right here? All there was in you. And everything playing out everywhere else was just things playing out for you to learn from. Interesting, eh? Would you take things a little less seriously? Start looking things like look at miracles. And when you understand it, you do start looking at things like as miracles. And you do look at it with more understanding that it's a lesson. Maybe not instantly, like when the crappy things happen. You stub your toes, like, oh! Okay, what did I need to learn?
Pick up your feet.
Yeah. Like, you know, if you ever noticed when you stub your toes, usually you were thinking about something? Or you're
Always.
fidgeting? Yeah. I don't even know what snaps, but click it, we'll find out. The bottom line. Awakening, learning, enlightenment, healing, peace, happiness, health, love, all those things we seek can keep us seeking. The truth is we are all those things and the rest is an illusion. It's not as much about learning as it is about forgetting and remembering who it is you truly are. Being able to tap into that despite all the bullshit. Because you are beautiful, perfect, and powerful beyond measure. And we are one. And when you can feel that we are one energy, that we are creation in itself, and that all of this is just a playing field for us to learn from, it gets to be a lot of fun. And I went from the physical world, and it beat the shit out of me. Honestly, it beat the shit out into the holistic world, where I was responsible, and I started to heal, and I started to feel better, and I started to feel strong and get some self-worth and learn and do those things, and it was amazing. But since I tapped into the energetic part, when you tap right into source, right into love, miracles are a daily thing. They're not, I don't expect people to believe them because you have to feel them, right? Dallas, you've had a few of these. She's like, if I hadn't have been there, if I hadn't have felt that. But there's times when I'm working with people that things come up that nobody would have a way to know. Like it ties into your psychic, that things come up and and you can feel and see the changes instantly. And they're revolutionary, they're totally life-changing. They're miracles. Miracles can happen on a daily basis if you understand and you put out the thought and the vibration that it takes to get them. And when you can stay in that place, almost everything's a miracle. And it's almost always fun. And the English language becomes totally useless because there's no words. Dee knows what I'm talking about. There's no words. And when you can connect with people on that level, and your thoughts go together, and you can feel what they're feeling, and you're aware and you can feel what's in your body, and even looking at it scientifically, like that feeling of knowing what God is, of tapping into that, of being a part of that, and being able to affect other people's lives with it. And wrapping your head around, yeah, it takes a bit. But miracles happen all the time, and you're the one in control of them. And even before you understand energy, miracles start to happen because synchronicity starts bringing people into your life that are the miracle for you. And yeah, it comes down to that. You're perfect. All the rest of it is an illusion. The pain is illusion. The fact that you're lacking is an illusion. And that's where energy comes in as well. Lack, there's more than enough. We create everything. There's more than enough love and health and spiritualness and feeling connected and in the world for everyone. And if there's not, we can create more of it. There's massive abundance of everything. There's outside powers trying to control it, but we can create more of anything. So when you're in pain, or when people are, you're broke and you can't pay your bills, and then we send out the energy, sorry, I'm really going off here. When you send out the energy of, I need money, what do you think the equal translation of that when it comes to light and energy and the wavelength? What is need?
Lack.
It's an illusion. It's a whole bullshit illusion. So is guilt, so is all that stuff. So how can the energy, God, whatever, send you back? What are they going to send you back if you send out that you need money? Or love? Or anything? They're going to send you more lack and need and want, because it's all an illusion to begin with. So if you want more money, be abundant. If you want more love, be love. If you want to be in a more loving relationship, be that. And see what happens. So many people are stuck because they're looking for partners. Do you know how you find an amazing partner? You know that you're loved, and you feel sexy. And you feel loving, and you feel complete the way you are. And then someone, the perfect partner, will be attracted to you.
Yeah, stop looking.
Stop
Yeah,
looking.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay, let's close it off with that. Anything that's outside of you is an illusion. You're creating it all. So as long as you're looking for anything outside of you, you're not going to find it. All the answers are inside of you, and anything that you can learn, or anyone that's going to work with you, better work with the things that are within you. All right. Anybody have any questions? I think we're probably early. Are we early?
I have no idea what time it is.
Me neither.
4 o'clock.
Is it really?
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay, now what do you want to talk about?
Huh?
It was those videos.
Yeah.
The lack of the long